replication mediator in apoptosis. Then there is a platelet-derived growth factor. Hello, am I audible?
कैसे दिखता है ये?
Hello, there is some disturbance. Okay, we'll continue. There is next is a platelet-derived growth factor, which is responsible for regulation, proliferation, survival, and migration of the mesenchymal cell lineages. Because these are the mesenchymal cells or undifferentiated mesenchymal cells which migrate to the healing site, and therein they are differentiated into different formative cells. Then there are cytokine vascular endothelial growth factor responsible for angiogenesis or responsible for formation of Then these are the cytokine vascular endothelial growth factors which are responsible for starting the angiogenesis. Now this angiogenesis also plays a very important part when you see the post-operative wound healing in periodontal tissues. Then there are inflammatory mediators like insulin, interleukin-1, which mediates the inflammation, controls and stimulates the T helper cells, interleukin-6 and interleukin-4. We'll just go through a brief or short history of the platelet-rich or platelet concentrates in general. These platelet-rich concentrates, basically, first the use of platelet concentrates started from platelet-rich plasma, also called as a concentrated platelet-rich plasma (CPRP), which was developed with very less complex protocol, and it is prepared from the patient's own blood and is activated by addition of thrombin and calcium. So we used to add the thrombin and calcium when we used to prepare PRP, platelet-rich plasma. But disadvantage of this PRP, platelet-rich plasma, is that its properties can vary depending on the concentration of platelets, amount of leukocytes, type of the activator, what we use. Commonly used is the thrombin and calcium, type of activator used, and time of placement of the fibrin scaffold after clotting. There were also some of the risks involved with use of platelet-rich plasma or PRP. First and foremost is the presence of bovine thrombin in PRP can result in development of antibodies to clotting factor 5, 11, and thrombin can adversely affect the coagulation process. And these all disadvantages led to the invention or innovation of new family of platelet concentrates called PRF or platelet-rich fibrin, which we are nowadays using very widely. So how does this platelet, the various generation of platelet concentrates evolved? First and foremost, in older days, it was used as a fibrin glue. Now, this fibrin glue is nothing but a fibrin concentrate prepared from platelet-rich plasma. It used to be prepared from PRP. Then, with the advent of newer platelet concentrate, then the era growth factors era, wherein the concentration, wherein the focus was shifted from a glue to the significance of growth factor in the wound healing. There, they used to use platelet-rich plasma or platelet-rich growth factor (PRGF). Then came the era of Shokran's PRF. Then different type of blood concentrates, which we will eventually discuss in today's presentation. And the future is still under investigation. There are a lot of research going on onto the role of PRF and the presence of stem cells in the PRF in bone regeneration. So, what is PRF? In 2006, Shokrans and co-workers developed a novel technique with the aim of simplifying the PRP preparation protocol and to eliminate the xenofactors. Xenofactors means use of bovine thrombin, which used to trigger a different allergic reactions. So this led to so-called second generation platelet-derived biomaterials designated as PRF or Shokran's PRF. Now, PRF has basically the advantage of using PRF is that it is having a specific composition and it has a three-dimensional architecture. It is prepared as a natural concentrate without addition of any external anticoagulants. it is rich in various growth factors, what we had discussed earlier, like TGF growth factor, platelet-derived growth factor, vascular endothelial growth factors, etc. And PRF has a dense fibrin network with leukocytes, cytokines, and various structural glycoproteins. So it has a basically this three-dimensional architecture, which makes it very easy to use in various kind of a periodontal defects. The benefits of using platelet-rich fibrin is that it can enhance both soft and hard tissue healing, ease of the preparation, minimal expense, and lack of any biochemical modification. It has a physiologic architecture that is favorable and helps in enhances the wound healing. It is fine, flexible fibrin network, which is more elastic in nature, favoring the cytokine entrapment and cellular migration. So basically, not only the growth factors, but platelet-rich fibrin itself has a fibrin meshwork, and it acts as a scaffold, which allows the ingrowth and transmission of different cells through this scaffold. The presence of natural fibrin network in PRF, which protects the growth factors from proteolysis, and it favors the development of microvascularization, leading to more efficient cell migration. So these are the benefits of PRF. After advent of PRF, as I told you, after PRF, there are some of the smart blood concentrates which are available nowadays, which is Chokran's APRF and Chokran's IPRF. What is APRF? It is also called as an advanced type PRF, or also called as LPRF, which is leukocyte enriched PRF. And there is a PRF which is nowadays used in the liquid. It's a semi-liquid form called as a IPRF or an injectable PRF. Basically, these are all prepared by modifying the centrifuge speed and timing. Both of these advanced PRF and injectable PRF preparations are characterized by platelets, leukocytes, circulating stem cells, and endothelial cells concentrated in the fibrin clot. Leukocytes are enriched in APRF and IPRF. So the studies have shown that as compared to the routine PRF, this advanced PRF and injectable PRF has higher concentration of leukocyte presence, therein giving the additional advantage of some of the growth factors which are released by the leukocytes, like vascular endothelial growth factors. And leukocytes do play an important role in the healing mechanism, in the inflammatory mechanism required, pro-inflammatory mechanism required during the healing process, and it also has a role in the defense mechanism during the healing process. So after this LPRF and APRF, there are some of the concentrated growth factors which are also used. Sacco in 2006 first time developed this concentrated growth factors. Now, what is this concentrated growth factor? It is basically obtained by differential continuous centrifugal technology. It is a concentration of growth factors and fibrins, and it facilitates the healing of soft and hard tissue. As I told you, differential continuous centrifugation technology. What is that? That is, whenever it is prepared, what we do is we use 30 seconds of acceleration, then 2 minutes at 2700 RPM, then 4 minutes at 2400 RPM, then 4 minutes at again at 2700 RPM, then 3 minutes at 3000 RPM, and then 36 seconds of deceleration and stop. So this is called as a differential continuous centrifugal technology. And what we get after this is a different phases of CGF. So when we get, we'll get, if you can appreciate in the picture, we'll get in different 4 phases. So what is the first phase? First phase is basically consists of serum. Then the second phase is the interim phase, consists of fibrin buffy coat. Buffy coat basically has more of the white blood cells. And then comes the liquid phase, which contains of concentrated growth factor. That is the third phase. And then comes the lower phase, which consists of blood cells. So these are the concentrated growth factors. Then there is something called as a, you must have heard about TPRF. What is TPRF? TPRF is nothing but the titanium PRF. So what we do in titanium PRF is that instead of using the routine plastic or glass vacuuminers or glass tubes, we use titanium tubes for centrifugation. What is the advantage of using this titanium tube? The advantage of using these titanium tubes is that basically the preparation of this TPRF is based on the hypothesis that titanium may be more effective in activating the platelets than the silica activators used in the glass tube. It eliminates the speculations about potential negative effects of silica from the dry glass or glass coated plastic tubes. And if you can appreciate in this histologic diagram, it has been seen that TPRF has highly organized fibrin network as compared to the routine LPRF. So what you get out of this TPRF is a very systematic, very highly organized fibrin network. Then the next generation for the platelet concentrates is a stem cell and bone regeneration era. It is hypothesized that PRF can be unique source or a carrier of hemopoietic stem cells, which can potentially play a major role in tissue regenerative dentistry. But then again, this phase is under a lot of research, lot of investigations, and it will take some time to get these investigations or these innovations into a clinical practice. How do we have seen till now that what is PRF, what are different types of PRF, how the PRF from initial days of PRP to current what we use, how the PRF has evolved over the uses of PRF has evolved over the period of time. Now we'll just see how do we prepare PRF or platelet rich fibrin. First stage is the to draw the blood. Blood is drawn from a patient using sterile 10 ml vacutainer just before or during the surgery, and then you do centrifugation. The tube should always be balanced by opposing two tubes to equilibrate the centrifugation forces to prevent vibration. So whenever you put the vacuotiners or the tubes in the centrifuge, always make sure that they are balanced. If you have kept the 2 tubes or 3 tubes from one side, balance it with the equal number of tubes filled with the water on the other side, so that whenever the centrifugation occurs, there is a balance. Otherwise, you will not get a good quality or good quantity of PRF. So, withdrawal of the blood. Usually what we do, we withdraw the blood from median cubital vein. Most common site for withdrawal is cubital vein. But in case that is not accessible, we withdraw it from median cephalic vein or basilic vein. So these are the 3 sites from where we commonly withdraw the blood in our clinics. The standard protocol for PRF should be followed, and what we need for this is a PC2 table centrifuge, a blood collection kit consisting of 24 gauge butterfly needle, and around 9 ml blood collection tubes. So this is the centrifuge what we use in our department. It's a very portable centrifuge. It's called as a DentFuge because it is specially designed and customized for the use in the dental clinic by Labtech Laboratories, Ahmedabad, and it's a very it has a predetermined cycles for preparation of different type of PRF. So you need a centrifuge, you need a butterfly needle, and you need the collection tubes. A sample of blood is collected from the patients without anticoagulant in a 10 ml tubes, which are immediately centrifuged at the rate of 3000 rpm for 10 minutes. Now, always remember, especially for the students, that this time frame is very important. Once you withdraw the blood, put it in the tube, and immediately you have to centrifuge. You should not lose time in between, because the more the time gap between withdrawal of the blood and putting into centrifuge and starting the centrifuge, the quality of this, because the clotting will start, so the quality of the PRF what you get will start deteriorating. So there should be minimal possible time lapse between withdrawing the blood and putting it into the centrifuge. So whenever after putting it in the centrifuge for 3000 rpm for 10 minutes, what you get is the 3 layers. What are those 3 layers? The topmost layer is a acellular layer of platelet poor plasma. Then you have a PRF clot in the middle and RBCs at the bottom of the tube as seen in this diagram. Duration of the time between blood collection and centrifugation process is very important and critical parameter. Always remember, is a very important and critical parameter affecting the success and outcome of the procedure. So if you can appreciate in this diagram, what we get after centrifugation for 10 minutes at 3000 RPM are the three layers consisting of superficial layer, suppose some, okay. So you are able to see the presentation?
Yes, sir.
I am audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, there was some
Yes, sir.
disconnection. Okay, we'll continue. So as you appreciate in the picture here, there is superficial layer of as PPP. Something is happening in between. Okay. So the centrifugation process activates the coagulation process and separates the blood sample into three layers, as I have shown you. The blood sample with the clot is allowed to rest or mature for approximately 4 minutes. So once you are done centrifugation, you allow the clot to mature or rest for approximately 4 minutes before then this is a standard protocol what we follow, and many of you must have used this protocol. Then with the advent of time, there are some of the changes in the centrifugation protocol, because the centrifugation is a very critical to what quality and quantity of PRF we get. There is a recent concept of low speed centrifugation concept, because what they say that whenever you centrifuge a blood in a centrifugation, there is something called as a RCF, called as a relevant centrifugation force, RCF, which advances the PRF matrix with enhanced number of inflammatory cells. And basically this RCF or relevant centrifugation force has its impact on the, also called as a G force, on what quality of PRF you get. So the pressure which is exerted, routine PRF, that is 708 gram. But as you reduce the speed or modify the speed, when you want to take a PRF, the PRF or advanced PRF, the centrifugation force or a RCF what you want is 208 gram. And when you want to take a liquid PRF or IPRF, injectable PRF, the RCF force, the force what you want is 60 gram. So by modifying the centrifugation, speed and timing, you can alter this G force what is exerted, and accordingly you will get what kind of PRF you want. Advanced fibrin clot showed more porous structure with large interfibrous spaces compared to normal PRF. The platelets were more evenly distributed and increased in number along with lot of inflammatory cells. Histological analysis of advanced PRF showed a significantly high number of neutrophilic granulocytes as compared to normal PRF. If you can appreciate in these two diagrams, if you see the second histologic picture, you will see a even distribution of inflammatory cells. Inflammatory cells are basically seen in the yellow color. So if you see those yellow color in normal PRF, that is the first diagram on the left hand side, they are concentrated towards the distal side. While if you see in advanced PRF, these all inflammatory cells are evenly distributed throughout the PRF matrix. Why? Because in advanced PRF, you get a very systematic organized matrix, and it has evenly distributed leukocytes as well as platelets. There was a study which was done, the low speed centrifugation concept, wherein the G force was altered from 708 gram to 208 gram. And what it was observed that PRF had a dense structure in contrast to advanced PRF, which has more porous structure. And we all know about the healing after periodontal diseases. If you have a more porous structure, you have more chances of ingrowth of undifferentiated mesenchymal cells, ingrowth of the blood vessels, and it basically promotes neovascularization and formation of new blood vessels. So porous structure is always favorable for the postoperative healing. More the leukocytes, better chances of the healing mechanism. This was even tried in the in vivo, as well as they had concluded that the APRF is having porous structure, it has more human leukocytes and significantly enhanced vasculature. So the research have also proved that the evidence has also proved that advanced PRF has more porous structure and has a better significantly increased healing capacity as compared to the normal PRF. Then recently introduced concept of horizontal centrifugation concept. Now what they do in horizontal centrifugation is that instead of this centrifugation at a routine angle, they do the horizontal centrifugation, which is available by the trade name called as a BioPRF. Now, if you can appreciate in this, diagram, that first diagram shows the normal angulation what we use. The normal angulation, if you see the direction of G force which is applied whenever the centrifugation is switched on, and you, I request participant to please mute your mic. Yeah, thank you very much. While you see the direction of G force in the horizontal centrifugation. So as compared to fixed angle centrifuge, what they have done, they have put the tubes horizontally and they used it in the horizontal centrifugation, and it is also called as a HPRF or horizontal centrifugation PRF. Now the company which provides this commercially as a BioPRF have claimed that horizontal centrifugation, you get 4 times more platelets and leukocytes. You get higher growth factor release as compared to the fixed ankle routine centrifugation. You have a better horizontal layer separation between PRF clot and red blood cells. Even more even distribution of regenerative cells throughout the PRF clot. They have seen that it has less damage or death on the tube walls produced on as compared to the fixed angle centrifugation, and less red blood cells accumulation. So there are some of the advantages of horizontal centrifugation, and they were confirmed by the research by Myron Chai et al. So we'll just in short see different centrifugation protocols. Original Chocron's protocol 3000 RPM for us 10 minutes. That is the standard protocol. Then there is a protocol for LPRF or leukocyte enhanced PRF as suggested by Dohan and Frest group, and they have suggested of 2700 RPM for 12 minutes. Then came the Chocron's advanced PRF or APRF enriched with leukocytes is 15,000 RPM for 4 minutes. Then the liquid PRF, what we say, 700 RPM for 8 minutes. And there are some of the studies of late which have shown that you get IPRF not by centrifuging the blood for not only for 8 minutes but within 3 to 4 minutes. So to get IPRF, even 700 RPM for 3 to 4 minutes is enough, and that is what even we use in our clinical practice here. Then there is a titanium PRF, what I have told you earlier about 2800 RPM for 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So these are the different centrifugation protocols which should be followed according to which type of PRF you need. What are the advantages of using PRF? As you must have noticed and realized in the part of lecture we covered till now, that the protocol for preparation of PRF is very simple and very efficient. It is obtained by patient's own blood, so there are no chances of any alloplastic or a foreign body reaction. There is no risk of any immunological reaction. You get a natural fibrin framework with the growth factors which keep their activity for relatively longer period and stimulate the tissue regeneration very, very effectively. Can be used solely or in combination with the bone graft. You can use PRF alone or you can combine it with different bone graft and use it. It is economical and quick because you can just prepare the PRF, just withdraw the blood, centrifuge it, and you're for 10-15 minutes, and your PRF is ready. So it's very economical, quick, and can be prepared chair side. When used as a membrane, it avoids the donor site surgical procedure and patient discomfort, because if you are taking a donor tissue from different site, it will create a second surgical site, and which will have a discomfort for the patient. So use of PRF membrane prevents this. Biologic characteristic of the PRF. There are basically three fundamental principles for the PRF. First and foremost is the fibrin matrix at the surgical site, which acts as a scaffold. Second is the presence of growth factor and chemotactic proteins, which helps in facilitating the wound healing and regeneration. And third is angiogenesis or neovascularization, the fibrin matrix and stimulation of endothelial recruitment caused by different growth factors such as vascular endothelial growth factor. So these are basically three fundamental biologic characteristics of PRF, which helps and promotes the healing and regeneration. Now, after seeing all the basics about the PRF, what is PRF, how it is used, and what are the types of PRF, what are the different protocols of the PRF, we will now move to the second part of the lecture about the clinical uses of the PRF. Now, many of you have used PRF for a very long period of time, and may have used it for multiple indications. So what are the uses of PRF? It is used in implants, it is used in furcation, intrabony defect, sinus lift procedures. PRF used as a bioactive barrier or as a membrane. It is used as a protective barrier for healing also. So there are multiple uses of PRF. We will go one by one. I will just cover some of the important indications for PRF. First and foremost, most commonly used is the intrabony defect. So now here onwards, as I told you, it's an evidence-based overview. We will go and just go through some of the clinical cases or uses of PRF in an evidence-based manner. So here is one of the evidence, which is a systematic review and meta-analysis on effectiveness of autologous platelet-rich fibrin in the treatment of intrabony defect. And it has been seen through this meta-analysis that the PRF showed significant improvement in periodontal parameters such as clinical attachment level gain, intrabony defect field, as well as reduction of probing depth when PRF is used alone as compared to open flap debridement. So it has shown a very good, very significant result in intrabony defect. This is one of the clinical case wherein you can appreciate there is a pocket depth, there is a bony defect as seen in the radiograph. And if you compare it with the last radiograph, you see the amount of bone fill by using, if you appreciate the bony defect and you see the bony fill, what is achieved by using PRF alone, and even some amount of root coverage is also achieved and improvement in the soft tissue parameters by using of PRF alone. Then second indication, furcation defect. This is again a randomized control study wherein the PRF membrane and collagen membrane are compared along with DFDBA allograft in grade 2 furcation defect. And this study has also showed that there is a significant reduction in probing depth, improvement in relative vertical clinical attachment level, and the furcation defect field with autologous PRF used as a membrane, as compared to the collagen membrane. The advantage of PRF using PRF as a membrane is that the PRF membrane basically is rich of all the growth factors. So it enhances the healing of the site of a furcation defect by almost 10 folds. And apart from that, it is indigenously available, easy to use, and it has provided or showed excellent results. Here is one of the clinical case wherein, if you see, there is a furcation defect wherein after the PRF is used as a membrane, and if you compare both the radiograph, there is a bony fill seen in the furcation area. Third indication is a evidence here, the recession defects. Again, this is randomized control study where we had compared the PRF membrane with chorion membrane in a Miller's class 1 and class 2 recession defect. And in this study, in this evidence, what we have concluded or what we have seen that the results of using chorion membrane and platelet-rich fibrin membrane at the end of 6 months are comparable. Means both the membranes, chorion as well as PRF membrane, have shown a significant root cover. But then chorion membrane was not seen better than PRF. PRF was not seen better than PRF. But the results were, if you compare the results with the baseline, there was definite improvement in the root coverage. But among the test and control group, there was not much difference. This shows that the PRF membrane also can provide equally good result as compared to any other membrane. Now, the advantage of using PRF membrane, though the results are comparable, the advantage using PRF membrane is that it is indigenous, it is easily prepared, and there are no chances of any cross reaction which are there in the chorion membrane, or there are no chances of transmission of infection which may happen in chorion membrane as compared to the PRF membrane. So here the clinical study where in the test and control site at the baseline, flap reflection at the both side and placement of membrane, and recession coverage at 6 months wherein both the membrane showed a good amount of coverage. Now, only thing about using PRF as a membrane is that the handling properties as compared to any other membrane. You have to handle it very carefully. The handling properties may not be as good because the rigidity what we get in the routine GTR membrane may not be there. So handling of this membrane will be little bit tricky. Then next indication is a socket preservation using PRF. This is again one of our study in which we have done a clinical and radiographic study, comparative evaluation of extraction socket preservation with DFDPA alone and DFDPA plus platelet-rich fibrin. And in this study, what we have seen that just adding the PRF with routine. Now, DFDBA we have been using since years, and we know that DFDBA is one of the gold standards coming to the gold standards when we come to the bone grafts used in the periodontal regeneration. But addition of PRF to this DFDBA enhances the regenerative capacity, enhances the hard tissue as well as soft tissue healing at the extraction site by many folds, and provides the excellent post-operative results for the placement of implants if you want to place at these extraction sites. So these are the pre-operative and post-operative user extraction site, and these are the radiographs which show a very good socket feel. You can have a first of the immediate X-ray at test site. Second is the test site at 90 days, and at 180 days it has shown a very good socket feel. Then we come to the implants. In recent time, the PRF has been very widely used along with implants. It has been used alone as a PRF plugs. It has been mixed with a different type of excuse me, request to mute your mic, please. Thank you. I request to please mute the mic. Yeah, so we'll continue with this. The PRF has been very widely used, and this is one of the evidence which has shown that PRF, when used along in the dental implants for augmentation of maxillary sites, has shown a very good bone fill and very good regenerative capacities. In many of the cases, in cases of deficient bone, in cases of deficient soft tissue, there are multiple indications in implant dentistry wherein you can use the PRF. You can use PRF, you can mix it with the bone graft and use it. You can put a bone graft and use platelet-rich fibrin membranes to cover them to enhance the healing. You can use PRF plugs for the indirect for the sinus lift procedures, or you can use as shown in the diagram, you can use a PRF as a soft tissue plug for soft tissue healing around the implant in the form of poncho technique. So there are multiple indications for use of PRF in implant dentistry, and it enhances the healing, post-operative healing after placement of implants. This is again one of the case wherein you see the kind of a defect, and plugging it with the PRF have shown a very good healing. Then we come to the next aspect of or next modification of platelet-rich fibrin used in combination with the xenograft, with the more commonly xenograft or different type of bone grafts, a sticky bone. Now, what is this sticky bone? Sticky bone is nothing but what we do in sticky bone is that we mix, basically it is a autologous concentrated growth factor enriched bone matrix, and it is very widely used in periodontology, periodontal regeneration, as well as implant dentistry. This is one of the clinical case from our department. So what basically we do in that, we use withdraw the blood, centrifuge this blood at 700 rpm for 3 to 4 minutes. When you centrifuge, you will get a IPRF or a liquid PRF or an injectable PRF. So you just withdraw that injectable PRF from the tube and mix it with the bone graft, and just keep mixing it for around 10 to 12 minutes. What you get after 10 to 12 minutes is this kind of a sticky bone. Now, advantage of using this sticky bone is that you see the handling properties of this bone graft improve so much that you can place it very easily in different type of defects, which you can appreciate from this clinical photograph. So this is a sticky bone which is very widely used nowadays in our clinical practice. Then there is one more advancement, one more step ahead of sticky bone, that is called as a LPRF block. What is this LPRF block? Basically, this LPRF block is 1:1 particulate mixture of a particulate xenograft with a chopped LPRF membranes and then adding a liquid fibrinogen. And as this research evidence have shown that it has shown a linear horizontal bone gain of 4.6 millimeter, which is a very big linear horizontal bone gain of 4.6 millimeter. And even this research evidence, they have concluded that LPRF block technique can be regarded as a successful technique for bone augmentation procedure and GBR procedure. So what they do in LPRF block is that this is a xenograft. Along with that, you prepare the LPRF membranes. Now, how do we prepare LPRF membrane? You take a PRF, you prepare a LPRF as per the standard protocol what I showed you. Then there are a metal PRF blocks which are available. PRF blocks which are available to prepare the membrane, and you get it very easily in the market nowadays. Even the GDC has come with those PRF boxes. So these PRF boxes have a metal plates which are used to compress the PRF and prepare it and compress it in the form of membrane. So they are very readily available, very easily available, and very easily chair side you can prepare the PRF membrane using this PRF boxes. And once you prepare the PRF boxes, when you prepare this PRF membrane, you take this membrane and just shred it into small particles or small pieces as shown in this diagram. When you take this xenograft and you have a shredded PRF membrane, you mix the liquid fibrinogen or injectable PRF to that. And at the end, what you get, and again you keep on mixing as I told you in sticky bone. This is just a one step ahead or modification of sticky bone. And what you get is such kind of a LPRF block. This is called as a LPRF block. It is nothing but the modification of what I showed you earlier of a sticky bone. But again, it has a very, very good regenerative potential and very good use. You can use it this basically because of the availability of the material and because of the handling properties of the this block, you can use even in the larger defects. Then the use of PRF will come to next indication. the use of PRF in peri-implantitis. Since past few years, the PRF has been used widely in management of peri-implantitis. Though when we talk in the terms of evidence, we don't have any long-term longitudinal studies to show the effectiveness of PRF in management of peri-implantitis. But there are different type of case reports which have shown that the use of PRF alone without any bone graft have shown a lot of resolution of peri-implantitis and regeneration of the last bone. These again are pictures from the article which I have shown you by Pranav Patil et al. And if you can see from the evidence they have shown in their article that you see the pre-operative and post-operative results. There is so much of the nice bone regeneration around the implant. And as they have written in their article is that the stability of implant has also increased by using only PRF. No bone graft, nothing, only PRF. So PRF has been used of late in peri-implantitis and also shown a very good results. Endoperio lesions, again very large endoperio lesions wherein use of LPRF have shown a faster resolution of this endoperio lesions, resolution of the periodontal pockets associated with endoperio lesion, and healing of the bony defects in endoperio lesion. Then next very interesting and very innovative use of PRF. This is article by our own friends, and what they had done in that they have used PRF as a palatal bandage. Whenever we take a free gingival graft from the palatal side, what happens that what we get in the palate is a raw wound, and if the graft what we withdraw from a very large raw wound on the palate, which often creates a discomfort for the patient, which heals by secondary intention. So it will take a time to heal it, and it will cause pain and discomfort to the patient. So what they have done is that they have used a collagen dressing versus PRF membrane as a palatal dressing or a palatal bandage. So if you can appreciate here in the first diagram, they have used a collagen dressing, while second they have used a PRF dressing, and the authors have concluded that the use of PRF as a dressing has shown remarkable result in post-operative healing as well as reduction in the discomfort to the patient. So we have seen different advantages of the PRF, different indications of the PRF, and practically we have seen PRF as a wonder material which can do wonders. But then there are some of the drawbacks, or I'll not say drawbacks, but then there are some precautions you have to take when you use PRF as a material for regeneration. First and foremost, whenever you use PRF as a membrane, the quality of membrane depends on the interval between the speed of handling between the blood collection and centrifugation. This thing I had told you when I had told you about the preparation of PRF, that from withdrawal of the blood to centrifugation, this time gap should be very, very short, because the more the time gap between blood collection and centrifugation, it will adversely affect the quality of PRF what you will get afterwards. It should be immediately used after preparation, as it will shrink. If you allow it to stay there, it will shrink over the period of time, resulting in dehydration and altering the structural integrity of the membrane. PRF, when stored in the refrigerator, can result in risk of bacterial contamination of the membrane. See, basically PRF is a autologous, naturally available material. It's a very short and quick process of preparing PRF. So you can just prepare the PRF chair side, use it and finish it off. Why you want to store that PRF? It is not advisable to unnecessarily store it in the refrigerator. These limitations with the use of PRF can definitely be circumvented by sticking on to the standard protocol for preparation and preservation of the membrane. Those protocols I had already told you earlier. So I would like to conclude saying that PRF is increasingly being investigated and used by clinicians worldwide. It has been not only used in dentistry, but nowadays even the orthopedicians are using PRF for treating different joint problems. Dermatologists are using PRF very widely, So PRF, even the plastic surgeons are using PRF. So there are multiple use and many clinicians are using it worldwide. It has been used as the adjunctive autologous biomaterial to promote the bone and soft tissue healing and regeneration. It has also grabbed the attention because of its ease of the availability and from the patient's own blood. So it is basically used from self to self. So the advantage of the PRF is that it is full of different growth factors, and all those growth factors which play a very important and significant role in our healing of our body, as well as plays a very important and significant role in the periodontal regeneration. So use the PRF widely, but then follow use it judiciously, follow the protocol what is indicated for use of each PRF, and definitely you will have a lot of wonders, lot of success in your clinical practice. So thank you, and regards from greetings from Gujarat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity to interact.
And we are still understanding platelet concentrates and easy to use autologous preparation. Still, there are so many questions to be answered.
Yes,
And
sir, definitely.
Everybody is having question in their mind, and I request all the participants to please type the question and send in the chat box rather than open their mic, because that will create the confusion. Please type your question. And Dr. Ajita Menawat, Professor, Department of question answer round. Try to ask as per the schedule. Dr. Ajita Menawat.
Thank you, Dr. Neeraj Deshpande, for an excellent lecture.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, starting with the questions, what are the various blood investigations that are necessary before we plan for the use of platelet concentrate? And is hematocrit count important?
Yeah, we'll start with the question answer session. Before starting, I just saw the video. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Nandlal sir, and thank you very much, sir, for being there for my lecture. And we will go with the question about the blood investigations. Yes, blood investigations we need to do get it done before we go for using the PRF. Because thing is that at least routine CBC we can do, routine CBC and routine blood investigations, what TLC, DLC we should do, because ultimately it is prepared from the blood. So whatever are the blood parameters, those play very important role in the quality of PRF what we get. And thing is that basically then there are some of the precautions which you need to take. For example, if you do a blood investigation CPC and you come to know that patient is suffering from thrombocytopenia, such cases you should avoid doing PRF. We cannot do PRF in this kind of situation. So definitely routine CBC and routine blood investigations are mandatory before we do PRF.
Sir, is there any absolute contraindication for the use of platelet concentrate?
Basically, absolutely, there are some of the contraindications where we should avoid using for PRF. First and foremost is thrombocytopenia, wherein the blood count is less than 1 lakh. There are patients who are anemic, severely anemic patients. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah. So patients who are severely anemic, then patients who are having a history of platelet dysfunction, then patients who are having metastatic disorders, and patients who are having septicemia or active wound infection who are taking antibiotics. So such kind of patients with some of these of the systemic diseases, we should avoid using PRF.
So what about patients taking aspirin and clopidogrel, which influence the level of platelets in the blood?
Yeah, those actually patients taking that also will have some impact on the quality of PRF you take. But then in clinical practice, whenever we have taken, we have not theoretically there might be, but in clinically we have not found any difference or impact on the quality of PRF you get. Sufficient amount of PRF you get to be used in the periodontal defect.
Sir, over the years, several generations of platelet concentrates have come. So we obviously know that PRF is better than PRP, but could you point out when PRP could be used?
PRP nowadays, PRP is used in more of the medical purposes than dental purposes, because what is that there? As I told you in my presentation also, a main effect is presence of this citrates and presence of this clotting, this thrombin and bovine thrombin which is used. That has a adverse effect. Not only a patient may have the adverse reaction, but then it affects the healing also. And many of the patients have shown the allergy to citrate. There are case reports which have shown that allergic reactions to after usage of PRP. If you go by the literature and evidence, there are adverse reactions which are reported to PRP, but not to PRF. There are no adverse reactions reported to PRF. So definitely for dental use, PRF is a very good material. PRP is practically obsolete nowadays.
But if at all PRP had been used in anywhere, then and if an adverse reaction occurs, or maybe one fine day any reaction to PRF occurs, so what should be the backup plan? How should we treat this adverse reaction?
Adverse reaction actually we can treat with the help of different antihistaminics. You need to take a support from the medical team, but definitely in dental office you can give patient different antihistaminics like Claritin is being shown to be effective in such kind of reactions. Reactions can be there definitely more commonly to the PRP than PRF. So antihistaminics can be administered as the first line of defense before shifting patient to the medical practitioner or a
Yes.
medical hospital.
Yes, sir. Sir, how long do the growth factors get released whenever we place PRF? I mean, what is the half-life of these agents that are released?
Basically, as the different studies and different studies demonstrating the healing after PRF, placement of platelet concentrate, for that on an average, effect of PRF or a platelet concentrates is there for around 10 days. Average is around 10 days. If you use PRP, it is 7 to 10 days. If you use IPRF, it is 10 to 14 days. So it's depending upon the what kind of this thing used, but on an average, you can consider that 10 days is the average wherein you will find the PRF active at the site of healing. And that is what we want during initial healing phase only. We want abundance of growth factor at the site of healing. So that is the phase wherein we want growth factors to be there. And by using PRF, that is the period during which we get PRF there, get growth factors there.
Yes, sir. Sir, as we have heard in the presentation, KPRF has high concentration of monocytes. So what is the added advantage of more monocytes in the PRF?
See, basically monocyte is basically nowadays what they do is that as you must have noticed in the presentation also, that we have moved from routine standard PRF to LPRF or advanced PRF. And the only reason for moving from standard PRF to the advanced PRF is that as I showed you in the diagram also, that it has a very systematic fibrous network, a very good scaffold network. And having good scaffold network, it has well distributed leukocytes, especially the monocytes also in that. The advantage of monocyte is that number one, it plays a very important role in the defense mechanism. And secondly, monocytes also release number of growth factors such as vascular endothelial growth factor, which enhances the healing mechanism. So there are these two effects of presence of monocytes or leukocytes in the advanced PRF has been documented in research.
Sir, what kind of PRF would you recommend for implant surgeries?
Implants, actually, as I've shown you, that LPRF block, and if you go toward to the articles in different implant dentistry, the most common PRF they have used is a LPRF, leukocyte enhanced PRF. LPRF is the one which is very commonly used in implant dentistry, and it has shown a very good results.
So what would happen and how would we treat if the PRF membrane be exposed to the external environment due to various reasons after surgery?
Actually, that is the wonderful thing about the PRF as a membrane. Thing is that first of all, I have told to PRF used for membrane used for multiple indications, but there are the cases which we have seen that patient came to our clinic with a necrotic lesion, with a open necrotic lesion in the maxillary area. So what we did, we just curated the necrotic lesion, removed all necrotic debris, and just placed the PRF plug there. Anyway, my secondary patient just placed the PRF plug there and covered with the periodontal pack, and it has shown wonderful hard tissue and soft tissue healing. So when we talk of PRF membrane exposure also, even if you have PRF membrane exposure, unless and until there is an infection of the site, you don't need to do anything. Just cover it with the tin foil and periodontal pack and let it allow. PRF has so much of growth factors in that it will take care on its own. You don't need to intervene unless and until you notice that there is a infection there. If at all there is an infection of the wound site, then you need to curate out the infection and again place the PRF in the form of plug or a membrane there. It will provide the excellent hard and soft tissue healing.
Yes, sir. So can PRF be prepared in normal glass tubes or vacutainers?
Basically, nowadays what we use is glass tubes, or that plastic vacutainers are available. Some of the studies have shown, but that is not again proved, that basically when you use a glass, there is a interaction of the silica covering the glass or tubes with the PRF or tube with the blood. So there might be, it may have a effect on what quality of PRF you get. So plastic vacutainers are always preferred. Glass, there's a disadvantage. What some of the authors have suggested that because of the reaction of the silica covering the glass tube.
Yes, sir. So another question that we have from the audience is, what are the ways to assess soft tissue healing after we've used PRF?
Ways to assess the soft tissue healing is basically there are different indices which are available to assess the soft tissue healing. So you can just check that. See, basically for soft tissue check the soft tissue healing, we have a well-defined protocol in periodontology, wherein there is a specific time frame is fixed, wherein you cannot do the probing. Initial probing is to be avoided. And to check the soft tissue healing, there are number of soft tissue indices which are available, which even we use in our dissertations also. So same indices, same soft tissue protocol you can use. There is no separate soft tissue protocol for PRF. What soft tissue protocol we use for the periodontal healing in our dissertations and our researches, that same soft tissue healing protocols we can use.
Yes. And so another one is, which type of PRF has best handling properties and can it be sutured?
Yes, definitely. Like you have, I have shown you the clinical cases wherein we have used PRF as a membrane along with DFDBA and alone also. PRF membranes has a very good only handling property. You can definitely suture the PRF membrane with very fine sutures. And only thing is that the disadvantage is that it doesn't have a rigidity what we want with GTR membranes. See, basically, the purpose of using GTR membrane is a selective exclusion of the epithelial cells. So for that, you need a rigidity of the membrane. The disadvantage of PRF membrane is that you don't get that structural rigidity or hardness what we want from the GTR membrane. But PRF membrane as such has a very good handling properties. There's no issue with that.
Yes, sir. Sir, can PRF alone be used for augmentation of keratinized gingiva? And
Yes.
If yes, which kind of PRF should be used?
See, PRF, nowadays, whatever the research you will find about the regenerative role of PRF are basically they have used advanced PRF only. And there is something, if you go in the literature, PRF has been very widely used for augmentation of the soft tissue, for the root coverage. And there is some technique called as a fibrin assisted soft tissue promotion. It is called as a FAST P technique, FAST FAST P technique, that is fibrin assisted soft tissue promotion. And what they have done in this procedure is that it is basically the modification of what VISTA technique we do for the multiple root coverage. So in modification of this VISTA technique, they have just given the horizontal mucosal incisions, and from horizontal mucosal incision they have created a pouch, and in that pouch they have just pushed the multiple PRF membranes, and then just passively they have moved the soft tissue coronally, and they have seen excellent soft tissue healing after using this PRF membranes in the context of the gingival biotype also and the soft tissue coverage also. So this is a recent actually technique which even I came across in last 2-3 days only while just going through PRF, and you will get it PGs on the PubMed about the FAST P technique, fibrin promotion. It's a very good soft tissue coverage results they have seen.
IPRF is also used nowadays, sir. IPRF to increase the thickness. People are injecting the IPRF in the gingiva, active tissue.
Yeah, basically IPRF, as you rightly told, IPRF is very commonly used for our papillary reconstruction.
Sir, another question from the audience is, could you highlight about the red and yellow zones in the IPRF?
Red and yellow zones in IPRF. No, even I have not come across this red and yellow zone on IPRF.
Okay, sir.
I will also, because I have not come across any. Basically, if you can see in those diagrams, they are asking from the diagram.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Yeah, basically those red and yellow zones are basically different type of leukocytes, CD4 and CD. They have color coded those. CD4 and CD18 cells, so they have color coded. Those are not zones basically. Those are the type of leukocytes. That's it, and they have named also. Basically, histological study, they have seen the distribution of these leukocytes. So red and yellow color coding, they have used different type of CD4 cells.
Yes.
Okay, not for diagram. Then not from diagram. Okay. Then actually, I also have to see what is the red and yellow zone in IPRF.
Yes, sir. Sir, another question is, how will the quality of PRF be affected in patients who have blood dyscrasias?
Basically, as I've told you that, like patient with anemia, patient with thrombocytopenia, we usually avoid doing these kind of procedures. That I have earlier. These are some of the contraindications for doing PRF.
Yes, sir.
Because ultimately, what you get in PRF are the components of blood. You are just separating those components of blood. So if the blood itself is not perfect or compromised, the PRF what you get will definitely be compromised.
Yes, sir. So what is the tentative cost of the machine that you are using in the department?
That machine cost around 55 to 60,000, I think. That dent fuse you are asking. Dent. Yeah, that is by the LabTech laboratories in Ahmedabad. Name it dent fuse. That is 55, 60,000. It's a very compact and very user friendly. But in routine PRF, we can use it.
So what is the procedure to prepare PRF membrane?
The PRF membrane is used, prepared using PRF boxes. These are the stainless steel PRF boxes which are available. So I have told you the procedure of preparing a PRF plug. So when you take a PRF plug, what we do, we place it in the PRF box and that stainless steel PRF box, and you just compress it. After compressing it, you will get a flat or uniform with a uniform thickness PRF membrane.
Another question, sir, is about the impact of variation in the distance between the center of rotation and circumferential perimeter in which test tubes are placed within the centrifuge on supernatant and sediment qualities.
See, basically, I have not come across any come across any of the effect, but definitely the distance from the center to the centrifuge will affect the G force. That is the RCF, relative centrifugal force. And whatever the changes are there in the relative centrifugal force, that will definitely affect the quality of PRF what we get. As I have told you in the diagram, the in standard protocol what we follow is the 708 gram of G force what we want, and as you go decreasing the force, you will get advanced PRF and then you will get the liquid PRF. So basically, whenever the G force is affected, the G force will have an impact on the fibrous structure, the fibrin meshwork or fibrin structure what you get in the PRF structure, PRF basically.
Okay. So what is the difference in the quality of platelet concentrates obtained from various age groups?
Basically, age will not have any impact. The impact will be on the content of the blood, not the age of the blood, the composition of the blood. What is the that's what I told you initially. It basically depends on the composition of blood. If the patient's blood parameters are all normal, then the age won't have any impact on the content of PRF.
So what are the bone grafts with which PRF cannot be used? That is ineffective combinations of PRF and bone graft?
Basically, there is nothing like that which cannot be used. But the most common bone graft with which PRF is used in implant dentistry are xenograft. The most common bone graft with which in implant dentistry the PRF is used are the xenograft. And in our clinical practice, we have used PRF along with DFDBA most commonly, and the results are excellent. But I have not come across that there is an absolute contraindication that PRF should not be used with particular bone graft. There is nothing like that.
Yes. So what are the degradation properties of PRF?
Degradation properties.
Yes, sir.
What is the question means? What exactly they want to ask degradation properties?
So probably how it degrades and how will the body remodel it?
See, basically, degradation means once you place the PRF at particular site, as soon as you place, it's basically a natural structure. So there is a proteolysis and degeneration which starts immediately. That occurs with all the resorbable membranes also. The PRF, in case of PRF, everything what we get in PRF is natural. So there is a fibrin meshwork, there are platelets present. So platelets eventually release the growth factors and they degenerate. And this fibrin meshwork of the PRF is eventually replaced by the natural hard and soft tissue. So that is a natural process of healing. There's nothing called degradation or degeneration in that.
So finally, the last question: which one would you say is the best among the various platelet concentrates?
From clinical experience and clinical studies and evidence, what they have shown that as of now, APRF or advanced PRF is one of the because it is an advanced PRF, it is a leukocyte enhanced PRF, and it is very widely and commonly used and shown excellent results. So APRF or advanced PRF is one of the best PRF to use nowadays. Now even this what I showed you, horizontal PRF, this company has claimed and study has shown that it has even better properties as compared to APRF, but then that is not easily available in our country at present.
Yes, sir.
I
Thank
think
you so
someone
much,
has
sir.
talked about the soft tissue healing and keratinized gingiva. So that also, as I've told you, this study only on fibrin-assisted soft tissue promotion, they have shown the improvement in the gingival biotype and the soft tissue characteristics also. So there are studies which have shown improvement in the gingival soft tissue characteristics after using PR.
Thank you so much, sir, for this brainstorming session.
Dr. Neeraj.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Maya.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I like the way you fluidity, you made the subject so simple and made the young and the old understand the subject very easily. I appreciate that. I'm just here because of you. I wanted to listen to my good old friend.
Yeah. Not friend, sir. I am your student. You are my teacher, sir. I acknowledge, sir, and thank you, sir, for being here.
Don't mention that. We are friends now, ISP friends. I appreciate Neeraj. After a long time, I'm seeing you. All the best. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Nice. All
Arun Maya, sir, is my teacher from Manipal.
Dr. Deshpande, can I speak, Dr. Deshpande?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for hearing. You have presented very well. And it's a very thank to all the advisors, Dr. Amitabh, the principal of Pratap College, Gaurav Singh, and other senior persons. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
Rajesh Thakur, Bupin from Secretary. Welcome, Rajesh Thakur. Team guests are here with us, and they require applause and my vote of thanks. Kumar will be giving you all a big vote of thanks. What do you, sir?
Thank you so much, Dr. Deshpande, sir, for excellent lecture. On the behalf of Department of Periodontology, Sardar Patel Postgraduate Institute of Dental and Medical Science, I would like to thank guest speaker of today's webinar,
Hello.
Deshpande, who delivered very informative lecture and to enlighten all of us. I also thank the Institute for providing us the opportunity to organize this event further. Further, I extend my sincere thanks to our dynamic principal, Professor Gaurav Singh sir, and CD Director, Professor CD Kapoor sir, for their constant support and motivation. I also extend my sincere thanks to the head of the Department of Periodontology, Dr. Amitabh Srivastava sir, for this tremendous support. The faculty members, Dr. Vikram, Dr. Ajita Meena, Dr. Yasir S. Khan, Dr. Sajid Khan, other faculty members for their effort in organizing. Thanks Dr. Love Bhatia for their technical support. Moreover, I would also like to thank our postgraduate students and interns for all their efforts in this webinar. Last but not the least, I extended sincere thanks to the delegates who registered and attended the webinar, without whom the event cannot be success. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you very much, Vinod sir. Thank you, all the delegates. And luckily, we got throughout the webinar. This is the beauty of the webinar, that the speaker is sitting in Vadodara. The listener is Nepal, in Lucknow. We are
Yes.
all interacting like we are sitting in one room. And after that we'll be having a cup of tea together. So my thanks once again to all the organizers and speakers and delegates. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for this opportunity.
Very much, sir. Nirji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to all.
Thank you both for
Thank you, Abhinay.
Attending this webinar.
single thing. Sir, प्रणाम sir. सब लोगों को बहुत लोगों को नमस्कार, सबको प्रणाम sir. And thank you sir for nice presentation and reviving this PRS.
Rajesh Thakur.
Thank you sir.
To all of you, sir.
Thank you sir.
हो जाती है।
हो गया।
ये देखो, ये देखो।
हॉटस्पॉट तो हॉटस्पॉट तो दे रही हूँ मैं, दे रही हूँ।
अभी बता दो।
मैं वही बात कर रही हूँ। मेरे बाल भी रेड रेड थे यार उस टाइम।
ये मैं बता रही थी। ये देखो।
और उसने बोला उसने नहीं लिया है, और साथ में सनावला बैठा था, मैंने बोला सनावला सर का बैठा।
बताइए ये कितने दिन देंगे मूवी तो आप कितने
बताइए ना इसका बीडिंग
70
बीडिंग
हाँ भी
ये सब कुछ 7 डेज।
हाँ हाँ।
ये नीता मैम 16 को सीए टंग आया होगा क्या कोई आपको ये?
हाँ 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 आया था,
कब?
पहले से डायग्नोज किया केस।
ये देखो
पढ़ने की एक्टिंग देखो यहाँ पे नोट तो लगे तो गई।
समझ रहे हैं।
चुप रहो तुम मत दिखाओ।
कितनी सारी है मेरे पास और भी 10-15। दूसरा बैच का सीनियर का वो चेंज हो गया क्या? हम लोग खत्म हो गया है तब।
क्वेश्चंस नहीं है
वो दे दिया ना तुमको बुक ले आना तुम। हाँ